Hello everyone!
Hello! Hello, how's everyone doing today?
I hope
All
you guys are
right,
doing good.
yes. Okay, so welcome to the Science Centre Observatory Facebook page, and this is the first time we are doing this broadcast. So please bear with us if there are any if you think that we can improve on it, okay, so do bear with us. In the meantime, okay, let us introduce ourselves. My name is Yating. Hello everyone. And then we have Ferry, our tech guy.
Hi!
And then we have Li Fei.
Hi everyone.
You can't see her because she wants to hide behind the screen. Okay, so we are science educator from the Science Centre Singapore, and since our observatory has been closed until further notice, so we decided that there's no better way to reach out to you guys through this method. Okay, now so since we are all at home stuck in our pod, so we shall call this a podcast.
A podcast, I see.
Yes, that's right. Okay, so if you have any burning question regarding our topics today on the sun and our solar system, do send in your questions through the link below the comment section. So if you have any questions, just post it there. Because if you do it in the comment section, it might be drowned out because too many people are watching or too many people are commenting. Okay, so if you want your answer, if you want a question to be answered, then go into our Google form to type in your questions.
Yep.
Okay.
And the link is found in the video description or also found in the pinned comments.
That's right. Okay, so we are going to end this podcast earlier, okay, because we want to watch PME's speech at 4 p.m. Okay, so let's try to have a light-hearted session before his speech. Okay. All right. So shall we get started, guys?
Yeah.
I'm ready. Yep.
Okay, so since there are no questions coming in at the moment, so let's go to the frequently asked question, okay, on Google.
Okay,
What's
so
your
Li Fei,
frequently asked question?
yes.
I don't know.
I'm gonna
About
put up
the
your
solar
screen,
system.
okay, Li Fei?
Yep.
Alright, so, alright, it's up right there, so you can start typing. What should we start with?
What about what is our solar system made of?
Oh, nice.
Okay.
I'm sure people would like to know that.
Oh, yeah, there we go. What is our solar system?
Made up of. Oh,
Yeah.
that's actually like the second most searched question in Google, right? Okay, we could answer that.
Okay. Right.
I think you two chemists will have a very good answer to it, right?
Well, I mean, like as chemists, like we would just say that, oh, the sun is made up of atoms. And then if you ask us, like, what is this planet made of? It's atoms. Because after all, like atoms make up of everything, right? But then again, of course, there's the question, what atoms specifically? But you know what?
Ah.
Let's not talk about chemistry. Leafy, why don't you like walk us through it?
Well, these atoms, as they get larger and larger, they become firstly dust. Right? We are all made of stardust, in other words. Okay, then we are in our solar system. We have plenty of things. Right? We have our sun, and we have lots and lots of things going around this big bright patch of dust.
Wait, hang on, Leafy. I think I've seen this picture before. Where is this
Oh
from?
yeah.
Oh yeah. It's
Yating, do
from
you
our
remember?
observatory classroom,
Oh,
right?
okay.
Yeah. So if you come to our observatory frequently, or if you have came before, okay, you will see that we do have these posters pasted around the classrooms. In fact, we do give out these posters to our visitors and students.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
if someone were to come to the observatory, hopefully
Yeah.
when things get better,
Yeah.
right, then they
Yeah.
might actually bring home this beautiful poster.
That's right.
Ah, okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you are watching this, right, you remember this. Next time if you see any one of us, okay, just ask us for it. It means you watch.
Our podcast.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we will
Okay.
thank you for
Yeah.
that.
All right.
Yeah.
Back to Leafy.
Right. Okay, so that's a picture of our sun. Now, a few weeks ago, I've taken a photo of it. Okay, and our sun would look like this.
Whoa.
Oh,
Right?
Okay.
nice.
Yeah. So it looks something like a furry ball.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but in fact, this fur ball right here, this little patch of fur and this little patch of fur. Along with this, okay, these are what we call solar prominences. Right? So when we have a lot of energy gusting out from the sun at one time, we are going to get these arcs of light. Right? But these arcs of light is still very dim as compared to the main sun. This big patch right here, this is in fact very, very bright. So we have to block out a lot of light in order for these to be visible.
Okay. So is this what people call the corona of the sun? And I think all the audience would probably have heard of the word corona, right?
Yeah, I
It's
know,
like
right?
it's one
This
of the
is
hot words like right now, like because we have
yeah.
coronavirus. So I did some searching, and apparently there is this thing called the corona of the sun, and apparently the word corona is what Latin for the word crown. So like this fuzzy thing that's sticking out of the surface of the sun, is that what corona of the sun is?
Now, this is still not the corona. The corona is in fact dimmer than what the prominences are. So corona can only be seen either in a total solar eclipse, okay, or using other kinds of telescope, not just this telescope that I use. This telescope that I use is an H alpha telescope, okay, so it doesn't block out enough of the sunlight just yet. Right, so the sun's corona, I have it right here.
Oh.
Okay,
So
it looks like this.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like the sun during the annular solar eclipse. Is this what we saw last year during the eclipse?
I think this is total solar eclipse. So this would be 100% block.
Oh.
Okay, that is going to happen maybe a few hundreds of years later for Singapore.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah, so not in our lifetime.
Oh,
but
yeah.
what we had last year was a blockage of around 92%. Yeah, so that's still too bright for us to see the sun's corona.
I see. Okay, guys, we have a question that came in on our Google form from
Hang on, yeah,
CC.
hang on. Hold on.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, so
Yeah.
those of you who just joined in, welcome to
yes.
our video podcast. And right now we are actually talking about the solar system, right? So if you
Yep.
have burning question about the solar system that you want to ask us, okay, click on the link that's found in the video description. I don't know where it is. It's probably like there, or like depending on what device you use to watch, right? It's found in the description of the video, and it's also found in the pinned comments. Okay, so keep the questions coming because if it's interesting enough, we will answer it for you. Okay, so back to you, Yating.
Right. Okay, so Libra was talking about looking at the sun using the telescope, right?
Yep.
So our friend over here, CC, he asked this question. Can we see any sunspots with binoculars or solar glasses from Singapore?
Yes, that's actually possible. It's just that right now, from last year onwards till to this year, we are at the solar minimum. So that would mean that the sun does not have so much magnetic activity, not the usual much. Okay, so we haven't seen sunspots for quite many weeks or many months now.
Oh, okay. So, but we will be able to see if there are sunspots using
Yes, we should be able to see through binoculars, but make sure your binoculars have the proper filter.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Yeah,
Yes.
so even with our bare eyes, when we look up, it's still very, very painful. Okay, so do make sure that you have the correct filters before you look at the sun.
Yes, and please make sure that you know that sunglasses alone is not enough.
Oh,
Okay,
yes.
even
People
though it
always
offers
ask,
a little bit of protection, but it's not enough for you to actually look at the sun directly.
what if they put the sunglasses in front of the binoculars?
I
Oh no, that's
don't
not
think it works
enough.
that way, I think.
No, I'm just asking, you know.
Okay.
Okay, so right. We have another question on Google, which is pretty much related. Okay, so Joe is asking, okay, I understand I missed the Venus transition with our sun a few years ago. Will the last one likely be in 2012?
Will there be a Mercury transition
Oh.
visible?
Oh, yeah,
from
sorry, I missed the
Singapore
rest of the
anytime
question.
soon?
Okay, yeah.
Okay,
Well, okay, perhaps Li Fei want to explain first what is Venus transition?
Yeah.
Venus transition is when this planet Venus, okay, it goes in front of us when we are looking at the sun.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it kind of it blocks a little bit part of the sun when we are looking at it, right? So it will look like well, like a mole moving across the sun,
I
right?
see. So
Mm.
Yeah.
this can be seen during the day, or can it also be seen during
This
the night? Oh, I mean,
this
like
has to be
obviously,
seen during the day.
yeah, because otherwise then the
Ah,
sun is not visible, right? Okay.
I
Yes, you're
see.
right.
So then the
Mm.
other question from him or her is that will there be a Mercury transition visible from Singapore anytime soon? Well, I mean, I'm pretty
Wow.
sure like transition happens all the time, right? It's just a question whether it's visible or not, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
Now, I'm not exactly sure here, but I think Mercury is like the smallest planet in our solar system, right? So if it happens, it's probably going to be visible only from a very small part of the world.
Mm-hmm.
And whether
Yeah.
it's visible from Singapore or not, like the time and the condition and like the location must be right.
Mm,
Is
that's
that
right.
is
Yes.
that how it works?
Yes, so it's very rare for us to see a transition, okay? But because after all, Singapore is a very, very small country, and I just did a quick search. We have a Mercury transit, but it's not in Singapore. It will only be visible more towards the southern hemisphere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's not where we are.
Okay.
Okay, so if we want to take a look at this, then we will have to go chasing after it.
Oh, but
I
now
see.
we can't chase it, unfortunately.
Yeah,
Stay
Okay.
not
at
now,
home,
not now.
everyone.
Yes.
Stay at
Stay
home
at home.
and watch our podcast, okay?
Okay, and then, all right. I think one of our team members just helped us answer that question. So the last one likely happened in 2012, and then the next Mercury transit is going to be 13 November 2032,
Mm.
and then the next one is on November 2030. Sorry, and then the next Venus transit that will be somewhere in December 2117. So that's like a long time ago.
Oh
By the way,
wow.
if you are if you want to know how we know all these things, okay, even though there is like only the three of us, like right now during the podcast, like me,
Yes.
Yansing, and Li Fei, okay, actually the whole team is helping us do this podcast. So as you guys submit the questions, they're actually working really hard behind their computer, like in front of their
Yeah.
computer, I guess. So they're
Yeah, our
actually supporting
brain.
us. So
Yeah.
shout out to the SCOB team. Okay, give them some love. All right. We have Kang Hui, we have Jihang, and we have Octave.
Okay.
All right. So
Yeah.
tell them how much you appreciate them in the comments. Okay.
Yeah. Actually, you should appreciate them more than us because they give you the right answers.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, anyways,
Right.
shall we move on to the next question?
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, one of our friends, Ing Xing, asked this question: Why do Moon have craters but not Earth?
Ah, okay, that's interesting. So
Yeah.
for those of you who don't know, craters are basically holes on the ground. So moon crater means that there's holes on the surface of the moon. Now, for if we compare the moon and the Earth, okay, the Earth is actually a lot bigger than the moon, but the Earth has also has something that the moon doesn't, and that is atmosphere. So the atmosphere is basically the air, and that's what makes us that's what makes it possible for us to live on Earth. Because as you all know, we need oxygen to survive, right? But the
Yeah.
atmosphere also acts as a barrier, if you will, okay, like a protection layer. So any asteroids, any space rocks that comes close to Earth that wants to hit Earth, okay, will actually have to go through the atmosphere first. And usually they go in and they enter our atmosphere at a very high speed that the friction causes them to actually catch on fire, basically. And then as they go through the atmosphere and as they get closer and closer, more of these rocks gets burned up, and usually by the time it actually hits the ground, okay, it's small enough that the impact is not so well, it's not so significant anymore. Now the moon, on the other hand, has no atmosphere, so any space rocks that goes towards the moon gets pulled by its gravity will then go full speed, impact, explode, and then craters happens. Okay, that's the
Wow.
reason why we have a lot of craters on the moon, but not so much on Earth.
Mm.
Anything from you that you want to add, Life or Yating?
No, I think it's pretty good.
Okay.
Oh, um, Right. So we do have more questions coming in. Okay. Okay. So Alexa, she asked, how does the sun produce light?
Hey.
Yay! This is a good
Hey.
question.
This is a good
Yeah.
question for chemists like
Yeah.
you to answer, Yajing.
Oh dear.
Okay, let me take this one for the team. Okay, so what happens is that on the sun, right, we've got these two elements. Okay, they are
Mm.
called hydrogen and helium. So they are the lightest and the second lightest element in the solar system. Okay, so the hydrogen, okay, on the surface of the sun, sorry, or in the core of the sun, um, they are basically under immense pressure, because like the sun has massive gravity, right? So the fact that this helium and hydrogen, they are compacted into a ball because of the gravity itself, okay, it kind of push them very very close to together, and then um, what will happen is what we call nuclear reaction. Okay, you are all probably very familiar with chemical reactions, right? So like when you cook your food, chemical reaction happens, but nuclear reaction is a different ball game altogether. So what happens is that at its simplest level, okay, two hydrogen atoms will actually go so close together, and then they will fuse. Okay, as they fuse, they form the second lightest element known as helium. And when this happens, okay, it releases like a lot of energy, and the energy, well, it's released as light energy and heat energy. Okay, but of course, like helium atoms, they also fuse together, okay, to form other heavier elements. But it's mostly these two, hydrogen and helium.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Anything that you
Great.
guys want to add?
No. I think you guys are doing a great job, okay? I'm just really here to be a vase.
Don't say that.
Don't say that. Okay, anyways, there is someone in the comment that says, we really appreciate this. Thanks so much,
Yay! Thank
SCOB. Thank
you.
you.
Thank
We really
you.
appreciate you too.
That's right. We were actually so nervous before the start. We were like, and Mr. Perry is doing his
Mr. Ferry.
stressful cough.
Like my hands were cold just now. I seriously.
Yeah, yeah. I
Okay.
mean, in this heat and his hands are cold, something is not right. Okay, so for those of you who just joined us, okay, do if you have any question regarding the sun or the solar system, please send in your questions by the link in the comment section. Okay, so we will try to answer as many questions as we can. Okay,
Okay.
right.
So,
Yeah, we have a question here.
yep.
Okay, by Rachel. What upcoming solar display can we look forward to seeing from Singapore, like eclipses or meteor showers? Maybe we should go one by one. Maybe we can talk about eclipse, then followed by meteor shower.
Oh, eclipses.
Hmm.
Okay. Well, we just had our most spectacular one. So the next one, okay, it's gonna happen in 2026. There is going to be a small solar eclipse. Not as fantastic, but it's still some cover. Okay, it's still a solar eclipse to show us the significance of our moon, right? And as for meteor showers, meteor showers, they happen quite frequently.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, we have one coming soon. Can't really remember its name, but we have this software here. Okay, what we call Stellarium, right? We can take a look at what kind of meteor showers are actually there. So we have Virginids, okay? If so happens that our night sky is very, very conducive for stargazing tonight, okay, then we would be able to see a little bit of meteor showers up in our sky, right? But usually this, we will have to wait until most of us are asleep, like past midnight, okay, when we switch off our lights and when we look up, we have minimal lights from high-rise residential buildings. Okay, then we try to look towards the constellation where the meteors are originating from. Okay, so in this case, Virginids, as the name suggests, it's coming from Virgo. Yes. Okay, so we
Okay.
can look forward to that.
All right. So we are looking forward to that.
And
Okay.
then
So yeah,
sorry, just to
yeah.
add, um because again, as I said, our team is actually working really hard in the background right now. Okay, so I was told that there is Eta Aquarids meteor shower in this year, 2020. Okay, should be happening in May. Okay, 5th to 6th May. So look for the constellation Aquarius, and that should be where the meteor shower is coming from.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Oh,
Okay.
I always thought we can't really see meteor shower.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, there is one question here.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily related to solar system, but let's just hear it. Okay. So
Yep.
question from CC. We have
Mm.
a 4.5 years old who is really into planets and space. We have
Mm.
a 70 mm Celestron Bino, solar filter, and solar glasses at home. So far, we have seen the solar eclipse, the moon, Jupiter, and its 4 moons. Any recommendation on what else we can see or do with these simple equipments? As getting a more powerful telescope is very costly. Well, good news. You can come to our observatory. Okay,
Yes.
it's free most of the time. Okay, we do
Yeah.
have paid session, but most of the time it's free. Okay,
Mm.
and depending on the condition of the night sky and what is available in the night sky on that day, and the and of course, like the equipment availability as well, you get to actually see different things if you come at different times. Okay, and also we are actually working out something very special for you. So the team has been working really hard, okay, to actually organize an overseas trip, okay, specially designed for astronomy lovers. Okay, so if you are interested in this trip, you want to see, sorry, this trip, you want to see this trip happens, okay, let us know in the comments below, all right, or leave a comment in our on our Facebook page, okay, or please make sure you like our Facebook page so that any updates you won't miss it. Okay.
Yep, that's right. So we are hoping that the situation gets better, and then we are able to do this overseas astronomy trip with you guys. Okay, so we have a couple of questions in the Google sheet right now. So let's try and see if we can answer them. Okay. Wow. So we have a very young viewer called Jacob. He's 6 years old. Hello, Jacob. Thank you for
Hi,
joining
Jacob.
us. Yeah. Okay. So his question is, okay, actually he has two questions. Okay. What are the dwarf planets in our solar system, and how many universes are there?
Okay, well, the short question is that there are a lot of dwarf planets in our solar system. Okay, but then there is only five. Okay, that is recognized by IAU. So IAU is International Astronomical Union. So
Mm-hmm.
they are Ceres, Pluto, Haumea, Makemake, and Eris. Okay.
Mm.
By the way, I might be pronouncing the names wrong because I think some of them, I think like Haumea, for example, that's probably a Hawaiian name. So I might
Yeah.
be wrong. And then so those five. Okay. And then
Yep.
for the second question, how many universes are there? Um, if we are talking about the observable universe, one. Okay. And
Yeah.
if you are someone who is adventurous, okay, you like to dabble a little bit in astrophysics, okay, you probably have come across this thing called the multiverse, right? So
Oh.
the multiverse is something that is not easily discussed, okay, but basically right now, it's not proven by experiment as far as I can tell. It
Mm.
is mathematically possible, but it's not proven by scientific experiment. Okay, but if let's say it's true that we do have the multiverse, then we have infinite number of universe.
Wow. So
Yeah,
there might be other living beings just like us.
yeah, it might be.
Oh, might be.
Okay.
Okay. Right. So I see a question right here. Okay. So Peter, okay, he said that since we are at home, what can we look out for at night in the sky from Singapore? I think this is a really good question because now everyone's at home. Sometimes we look at the sky and then, hey, we see some stars in the night sky, but we probably we see them almost every night, but we can't recognize them, right? So maybe Leafy, you want to show us some of the things we can see in the night sky maybe tonight?
Yeah. Okay, so when the sun set, we might be drawn towards the moon. Okay, so let's say if we are looking more towards the west side, right? So we have the moon almost right above our head, and close to the moon there is one bright star over here. Okay, Procyon, right? Now, if I were to select the constellation up to show you, we have many constellations right up in our night sky. Okay, but the brightest ones, okay, we would have Sirius. Okay, that would be our Canis Major. Okay, as you see, this is a big dog. Okay, it's the guard dog of the hunter Orion. You'll probably recognize this by his 3 stars in a straight line, his belt. Okay, so Orion, after this month, we will have to wait for another 8 months before we can see him again.
Oh.
So do catch him while you can, right? Now, these 3 stars in a straight line, they are surrounded by a red star, his shoulder, Betelgeuse, okay, and his foot, okay, Rigel. This would be a bright white or bluish star in the night sky. Okay, so when you see 3 stars in a straight line, make sure they are surrounded by these 2 stars before you make sure you conclude that they are Orion. Okay, and as for those of you who have binoculars or a simple telescope at home, okay, or even complex telescopes, all right, we can look at Orion Nebula. Okay, it's
That's
the
the
brightest
star
nebula,
cluster.
and stellar clouds, I would say.
Oh, stellar
Space
clouds.
clouds, yeah.
Mm.
Right. So it's quite visible in the night sky as long as you can see the 5 stars of Orion. Okay, there will be a speck over here, right? Very much like what I'm showing you right now. Okay, just a speck, you will realize that it's not clouds, it's not moving away like how the wind is taking the clouds away. Okay, and when we zoom in there, right, this is not exactly what we see, okay, because this is, remember, this is just a computer simulation, right? But we will get to see this fuzzy patch right here, okay, somewhat whitish. If your telescopes are superb, then yes, you will be able to see some colors.
Wow.
Wow, nice. But Life, other than stars and nebula, I believe we can see some planets, right?
Oh yes, that's for tonight.
Yeah.
Okay, so you also notice, those of us driving along the highway towards the west at night, right, we will see that there's this very, very bright gold nugget hanging right there in the sky. Now that is Venus.
Oh,
So-
how do we tell the star and the planet apart?
Oh yes. Now this Venus, okay, when we stare at it for 5 seconds, don't stare at it too long while you're driving, okay? When we stare at it for, let's say, 5 or 10 seconds, we'll realize that they don't really blink. Okay, but if, let's say, we know that that night is very cloudy, yes, it might blink because there might be clouds going past it. Okay, but otherwise, if it's all clear over there, that dot won't blink. Okay, and if you look at the other stars or the other dots close to it or somewhere else, you realize those dots would blink, especially this one here, the brightest one, Sirius. Okay, this would definitely blink as compared to Venus.
Okay.
Okay.
So actually there is this question by Sally. Okay. So she says that my son loves planets and space. What's your favorite planet or star and why? Shall I go first?
Oh, that's a fun
Yes,
question.
yes.
Yeah. You know why I want to answer this question? Because I know you guys got the right answer to.
Oh, it depends. Like, shall we turn this into a philosophical thing?
No.
Okay,
not
go ahead,
philosophical.
Yatsin. Go ahead, Yatsin.
Now, remember we were talking about this pickup lines.
Okay.
It's around it. Okay, so but anyways, if personally my favorite planet to see via the telescope would be Saturn, because Saturn is very special because if you look through it using a telescope, you can see the rings around Saturn. Yeah.
Okay.
So if now imagine you are my boyfriend, are you going to use any pickup line regarding this Saturn?
Are you Saturn? Because I
So
want to put a
Yeah.
ring on you. Something like that.
yes, exactly.
Okay, okay.
Okay. Anyways,
Okay, so I
Fifi,
guess
joke,
for
jokes
me,
aside.
okay, my favorite planet. Okay, so recently I read about this planet, okay, Venus. So apparently Venus, right, even though it's actually the second planet from the sun, so it's not the closest planet to the sun, it is actually the hottest planet. Okay, the reason being is that it's actually covered by thick layers of cloud. Okay, the cloud is not made of the same stuff that the cloud on Earth is made of. So it's made up of mostly carbon dioxide and um, acidic materials. Okay, so we have like acid rain on Venus all the time. Okay, but because of this thick layer of clouds, okay, heat that comes from the sun gets trapped. Okay, so we've got this greenhouse effect going on very, very intensely on Venus. So that's why it's very, very hot. But that also means that if we actually send let's say satellites, okay, and we park it into an orbit around Venus, we cannot actually see the surface of the planet itself, okay, because it's again obscured by thick layers of cloud. So what scientists did was that they actually sent a probe. Okay, so it's a small spacecraft that actually lands on Venus to take picture of the surrounding. So we managed to do that. Okay, we as in the scientists managed to take a few pictures of the surface of Venus, but then the spacecraft gets crushed almost immediately within minutes, I would say, by the immense pressure. Okay, and the hazardous condition right there. So if I were to use Venus in a pickup line, so Yating, maybe can I use it on you?
Sure.
Okay, hey Yating, are you Venus? Because you are hot, you're mysterious, and I would like to probe you. How's that? Is that good?
That's equally good.
That's equally good. All right.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, how about
Okay.
you, Life?
Yeah, how about Life?
I personally like Jupiter the most. Okay, because it's really easy to find using a telescope.
Mm?
That's one. It's very bright in the night sky. It's the reason why we have 12 zodiac, right? Because it takes 12 years to go around the sun.
Oh. Okay. So there you have it, Sally. That's a couple of our favorite planets. Okay. Now we have this one right here from CC again he um, because CC's son just came back from school. He's 4.5 years old. Hello. Hi.
Hi.
Okay, so he wants to know is the moon supposed to grow big and then slowly disappear? And but how many times or few days after the full moon, the moon is no longer in the sky? I think they are talking about phases of the
Phases
moon.
of the moon.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
Livy can share a little bit more about the phases of the moon.
Hey, okay, so let me show you. Okay, let me take away the distraction. All right, so right now, if you look over here,
Oh, so the
okay,
moon didn't disappear, right? So
yes, the moon
yeah.
doesn't disappear. It's just that the moon is going around our Earth, and it will reflect sunlight back to us at different times of the day. Okay, so we would be seeing the moon um, rising at our east horizon, okay, at the east direction, almost 50 minutes later every day. Okay, so let me show you what I mean by that, right? So let's say if we stick at 8:30, okay, we stay at 8:30 at night, okay, and we go tomorrow, okay, you would see the moon is moving more and more towards the east, which means it's rising later and later. Okay, so okay, let me show you this in another manner. Okay, so the time that the sun sets, right, it's around 7 p.m., right? Okay, so when it's full moon, right, when it's full moon, the moon will rise up in the east at 7, right, where opposite the sun. Okay, the later it is, do you realize our moon will rise later? Okay, and the next day the moon will rise even later, right?
Okay.
And as the moon rises at later and later, let's take a look here. Okay, so this is the telescopic view of our moon, right? So this
Yep.
is right after a few days after full moon. Okay, so if we just, oh, sorry, we lost the moon. Okay, so let's see. Right, so if let's say we, I can't do that. Okay, sorry about that. Right, so maybe this is not the best software to be showing you this right here. Okay, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, right. So I hope this answers your son's question, because the moon is doesn't disappear, it doesn't become smaller. It's just that we only see parts of the moon, right? Okay, so we have a question coming in by Chun Hao. Okay, so Chun Hao has this question: how credible are horoscopes from a scientific POV?
Okay.
Okay, Ferry should answer this question.
I should answer it. Okay. Do you know what my horoscope is?
Oh yeah, I actually don't know, but would you like to tell us what's your horoscope?
Well, I'm a dinosaur. How about you?
Huh? But there
Yeah.
is no such thing as a dinosaur.
Well, there is now. How about you, Yating?
I'm a hamster.
You're a hamster. Okay. Do you want to know what traits dinosaurs have?
Uh, they are
Well, you
probably
see,
just lazy.
nah, okay, that's not true.
They
Okay,
have
so
short hands.
as a dinosaur, I can say that people who belong to the horoscope dinosaur, right? Okay, tend to eat 3 times a day, right? They tend not to like it when people punch them without any good reason. Okay, and then like people who belong in dinosaur group, okay, doctors usually encourage them to eat healthy and then also maintain a regular sleep schedule for the most health benefits. Okay, whereas for people such as yourself in the hamster group, okay,
Yep.
usually you breathe in oxygen and you breathe out carbon dioxide.
Yep.
Yeah, sometimes like hamsters eat 3 times a day. Some hamsters eat more, some hamsters eat less. So it's really hard to say. And usually hamsters, all right, um, they love their family. Okay,
Mhm.
and when people do nasty things to them, they don't like it. So how applicable is this to you as a hamster?
Very, very applicable.
Very applicable, right? You see, that's the
Yeah.
thing with horoscopes, right? I mean, I'm not going to discredit it. Like if you're into it, you're into it, right? But the problem with horoscope is that like if you're reading horoscope from a magazine, right? All of the statements, they're actually very, very general statements that it practically applies to everyone. So if you read your horoscope, you will not actually know more about your current life than you already do. And the
Mm.
statements are just so general that yeah, that totally applies to me, man. But it applies to everyone as well.
Oh,
And there
okay.
is this bias that we have. Like we will agree with things that we already agree with, and we will just ignore those things that don't apply to us. So I don't know. Like you tell me. Like are horoscopes credible from scientific point of view?
I think Perry, you are just trying to say that the the statements actually apply to everyone,
Yeah, exactly.
not nobody in particular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I have this picture right up here for a reason. Okay, if you see where the bright blob is, right, that's the sun. Right, do you see this here? This
Yeah.
bright blob. Okay, so many thousands of years ago. Okay, I set at zero because before the software will go bonkers, right? So this is where the sun rises in April. Okay, so in other words, in April the sun rises in front of Aries. Okay, now this is one of the zodiac, right? This is one of the constellations that we know, or the one of the horoscope we know, Aries. Okay, and the next month, right, it actually rises in front of Taurus. So those of us who are born in May 3rd or early May, we would have our horoscope as Taurus, correct? And the following month we would get to Gemini.
So if I follow this kind of convention, I'm actually a Taurus. I'm not a dinosaur. But
Yes, you are
but
right.
dinosaur is way cooler though. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Okay, so going from the astronomy point of view,
Yeah. Okay.
okay, yeah. So yeah, if we just keep going on month by month, you will notice the sun just keep rising or moving from zodiac to zodiac. Okay, and we will have this Virgo right here. That is a very long month. Okay, it's a very long month. right? But Libra, that will be a short month, okay? And we will go to Scorpius, then we will go to Sagittarius. So those of you who are born in December, okay, your horoscope would be Sagittarius. Okay, so completing the year, after Sagittarius, we will have Capricornus. Okay, that's the Mergot right there. Then we know those of us who are born in January, late January or February, we would be Aquarius, then Pisces. Then we are back to Aries once again.
Okay.
Okay.
So it takes 12 months for the whole thing to turn one round, right?
Yes, you're right.
Okay.
Okay, so we are going to answer one last question. That is, let me see, I think it's on the comment section. Okay, so Zal M. Sure, he asked, next Tuesday night, pink moon, from what time? So what exactly is a pink moon?
I think pink moon is more of an internet hoax. Okay, that's not a really astronomical phenomenon. Okay, but I think that would also happen to be a real full moon. Okay, yeah. So that full moon, as we mentioned just now, it's going to rise right after sunset. So look towards the east. Okay, and we would get to see a very bright full moon if it doesn't rain at that time.
Oh,
Okay.
okay, great. Okay, so well, with that, I think we are going to wrap up this afternoon session. We would like to thank everyone for joining us in this session today because we are still worried, is there anyone who's going to come and watch us? Okay, so thank you for being with us.
Thank you so
Okay,
much. Thank you so
yes,
much for
thank you very
supporting
much.
us.
And if you really like us, you may want to just comment on the on this on our Facebook page. And because we are planning to do another one in 2 weeks' time, right? And
Oh,
the one that we're going to do in 2 weeks' time will be living in
living in
space.
space. Exciting.
Yeah, this is
Okay.
something that Ferry really enjoys.
Ah,
Okay,
yes.
so before we sign off, okay, there's a short announcement to make. Okay, so we have a group of young people who are very enthusiastic about science and astronomy. So they call themselves Star Rangers from the Science Centre Singapore's Academy of Young Engineers and Scientists. So they would like to do a broadcast as well in their Facebook page. So if you are interested to see what they have in store for you, so maybe you might want to tune in to their Facebook page at Say Yes. We spell it out as SAYES Facebook page, and they will start their podcast at about 8 o'clock. 8 to maybe 10. They will also probably be doing some live streaming of the night sky if the sky is clear. But speaking of live streaming, we are also going to do our very own live streaming maybe next week, next Friday, our usual time, 8 to 10 as well.
Yeah, so if you really,
Mm.
really enjoy this kind of podcast setting for the live stream, let us know in the comments. Okay, if you don't like it, if there is any feedback that I don't like the format, let us know in the comment. Okay, but again, if you
Yep.
like it, let us know in the comment because who knows, maybe we'll do this more often.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be really fun, right?
Yep.
Okay, if there's any other topics that you would like us to cover next time, maybe you may also want to drop it down, drop it in our comment section. Then we will look at it as a team when we go back later. All right. Okay, so well, like I mentioned, our PMD is going to make his speech at 4 p.m. So we're going to sign off and we're all going to watch his speech, okay? So, dear Singaporeans, do stay home, stay safe. We love you and we hope to see you very soon at the observatory, okay? Thank you, everyone.
Okay,
Thank you,
bye-bye.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.